Chris, episode 8, Win or Learn show. Getting through these episodes now.
We are flying.
Feeling good.
Very good.
Last week's episode seems to have caused some polarising debate. Some people saying the ultra marathon is impossible for me and you, and quite frankly, they might be right.
Yep.
But we are going to give it a go. The 50-mile ultra, November 13th in Hampshire. We're going to raise some money in charity. Links to follow. Some people very buzzing for us, and others critical of our decision, but that's what it's all about.
It is.
You enjoy last week's episode?
I loved it, yeah. And I think, people's opinions, either it's stupidity,
Which is,
it's motivational and it's slightly crazy.
Yeah.
It's all of the above. It's exactly why we did it. We want people to talk about, so I put it to the vote.
Exactly that.
To see what it's all about. And the decision's made. It's a 50-mile ultra and I am shitting it.
We're going to win,
Yeah.
or we're going to learn.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. But yeah, look out for future updates on that. We'll revisit that, obviously. So yeah, nice.
It's a nice challenge for us. I mean, you've done a little half marathon this morning. I went to do a full one and crumbled at 14k. So I need the training's looking good so far.
Week 1 training for you, not gone great.
No, it's not gone great, but it's a long road.
Long journey ahead.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Right, mate, let's get into it. This week we're debating what to talk about again. I think we've settled on discussing our fears, some insecurities that we've got, how they're challenges in life for everybody. We might go a bit deep on our own personal fears and insecurities, which is the whole point. So I'd just like you to kick us off, mate, if you don't mind, on sort of what challenges we face in life when we have these insecurities and fears, and if it's good to have insecurities and fears.
Yeah. I want to start by saying why this is important. And we want to speak about topics that everybody experiences and that everybody feels within them and that aren't spoken about at times, because we this isn't a you or an I or others, we are all scared of these things, right? Insecurities are within everybody. And I don't care what anybody says, but that's my opinion, they are there. Mm-hmm. It's how we deal with them, and whether we do or whether it's important to us, and also how that relates back to how you want to develop yourself as a person, or not develop yourself, but how you want to be happy in life, right? Because insecurities come from a number of different things. It might be how some people look, it might be how situations evolve, it might be social circles. We spoke, say off camera as if we're like in Hollywood, but we did speak off camera about, when you go to the gym, for example, people like us, you're a little bit more musty than I am, but I'm a little lanky, skinny lad. So, when I used to go and just used to be around people that were pumping iron and a lot bigger than me, that would intimidate me. Yeah. But there would be other situations where I know that, they might not be intimidated of me, but might see other qualities in me that they might desire. Yeah. So those little elements all come into it. And they do, we've spoken about how we shape as people, but also it's the internal feeling of insecurity. Mm-hmm. And how different elements, and why it's important to you, I think, is again, just relating it back to this, is where you want to go with your life and your career and how you develop yourself. I wanted to speak more about insecurities on this, you want to speak more about development. Yeah. And I think they actually come together really nicely. Yeah, they do. It's interesting with the gym thing, because I remember,
when you join a gym, you are right, you're a bit insecure. There's people there that look better than you do, are fitter than you are, can lift more weight than you. But what you quickly realise is that nobody in the room gives a shit about you, do they? They just don't care. I mean, so you're I used to do it when I first joined the gym, ages ago at uni, and 18 or whatever, and there was people in there, mate, in their 4th year and their 3rd year, massive rugby players, and American football players, I was going to say NFL then, that was big, American football players in there.
You just settle down, stick to rugby union, you.
Yeah, and I just avoided it. It's so stupid, because when you do go there, they don't care about you, they're just, people are actually kind of supportive, and I think that relates in life really. We get so hung up on what other people think about us, and sometimes it might fester for days. Did I say the wrong thing? Are they upset with me? And you might even address it with that person because you're worried about it. But what actually happens is that people didn't even notice that what you said. People don't really care about you walking through the gym. They don't care about other people. Of course there are some people that take the mick in a gym and photos, you see it on Twitter, but these are one-offs. Sometimes our insecurities come unnecessarily, I think.
That's really important. I want to just comment on that, saying it's a feeling of belonging somewhere. In a circle, you want to feel like you belong there. Especially in the gym's a good example of it, because you pick any individuals from any walk of life can be a part of that. If anybody pays their membership, they have just as much right to be there than others.
Yeah, of course.
If you want to go and compete and do bodybuilding, great. That's your decision. If you want to go and run ultra marathons like plonkers like us, then we're going to do it. Because that's what we want to do, and we will strive to do that. But the insecurities come from you want that feeling of belonging. I can certainly relate to that. Over the years in different aspects.
Yeah, it's important as well, because sometimes it holds us back from doing what we want to do because we're so worried about what other people think about us. Say you're insecure about your personality, or you might not want to start a business because you're scared your friends will take the mick out of you, or your mum and dad might not want you to do it, or whatever. So we sometimes hold ourselves back from things that we actually want to do because we don't want to upset other people. But ultimately, it's about your own life, mate. And if you should be doing the things you want to do. You shouldn't be trying to please everybody. If you don't want to go to uni, don't go to uni. But there are pressures from families sometimes to go to uni. So it is difficult. I 100%. I get that 100%.
What do you think about vulnerabilities, right? Because we've spoken about insecurity, and that stems a lot from how vulnerable you feel. Yeah. Everybody's vulnerable.
What do you mean, like vulnerable? Vulnerable in what aspect? So, like putting yourself out there.
There's a couple of different like internal feelings. It's like an intrinsic feeling. Yeah. Being vulnerable, and it will almost mean like you're either like exposed to things that you might not be ready for. Yeah. That can come from like work. It might come from relationships, people, sports clubs. Those are what relate to me anyway.
I think the fear of rejection tie into that nicely. Like you put yourself out there. Let's say you're a young man in a bar. Yeah. You approach a nice lady in the bar. You're putting yourself out there. You're putting yourself vulnerable, and there's that fear of rejection. Yeah. And so sometimes you don't. Yeah. Open that conversation.
I'm quite happy to speak about this. One of my biggest vulnerabilities, and like into not like a personal problem, but I went like maybe 4 years without a girlfriend between 21, 25, whatever. And it did bug me really badly because a lot of my mates were doing their thing, and I was like putting pressure on myself. And then when it finally happened, it was great. But it ended up getting me. Everybody goes through like bad breakups and stuff, and how mine ended. It was like it just made me feel really vulnerable within myself moving forward, and it took me a while to get over it. Yeah. Like it took a good 6 months because I just felt like. I just couldn't. I wasn't ready to move on, and it was really hard. Yeah. And like I was exposed, and not to other people, but like I just lost a lot. Yeah. So I found that hard.
Did you find it hard because you thought maybe other people were looking in and thinking, I don't know, about the relationship? I don't know. I'm asking you, is it an external thing where you're worried about? What your friends might think, or is it an internal thing where you think you're just devastated and you're upset and stuff like that?
It was internal for me. Yeah. Because I just couldn't talk about it properly. And that would be the biggest thing I could say to anybody is that if you do feel vulnerable and you can't get it off your mind. I mean, there's certain things you don't want to talk about. Yeah. Cool. But if you sit there and you cannot get it off your mind, talk about it. And I guarantee in half an hour. Things won't be okay, but things will be better. Yeah. This is what we do. Since I've been, we've been in the same environment. It's helped me to open up about things and just it's about lockdown. Lockdown's hard. We're cooked up, and I think that's just what it means for me.
It's interesting, mate. I mean, so that was what it was like for you, was it? Like just on your own. Not talking about things, bottling it up, and then did it make it worse?
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yeah, and I didn't even talk about it to get over it. It just ate me up until I was eventually moved on. Yeah. I just realised we're wearing the same t-shirt.
And the same jeans.
Oh, well.
Same white socks.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, it just took me a while to move on from it. So yeah. I mean that's I want to talk about things that what we can share. Yeah. On this because these things aren't uncommon, and we all go through it as people.
100% people are going to be watching this, mate, going through a bad breakup, haven't dealt with it well, felt vulnerable, felt fear of rejection. So these are human qualities, mate, that we can't actually go through life without experiencing one time or another. Yeah. We just all deal with them in different ways.
Yeah. Let's talk about fear, because we spoke about this in our favourite film quote from Coach Carter. Yes. Our deepest fear is that we are inadequate, and you know, in our lives we aspire to things, don't we? We want to get people are driven in different ways, but we want to achieve things.
Yeah.
Whether you set out in your mind and go, I want to get there, or whether you just subconsciously want progression, because they're very different. Not everybody sits there like chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
I know what I am. I'm chomping at the bit because that's just my character. You know, a sportsman. I've always competed like that.
Yeah.
But it's the fear of not achieving that either drives or scares me. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah,
it's a bit of both.
Yeah. For me, it was. It's a bit of both, I think, in terms of, like, going back to the business thing. I was always fearful that I wouldn't make it as a successful business person, and we could talk about that in another episode, you know, what's gone on. But for me, when I first started that, I've always thought, you know, what if I don't make it? I was trying to copy what other people have done, the successful people, like I told you on the previous episode, reading books by billionaires, and judging myself against what they'd previously done. And I was fearful that I would let my friends and family down, because they supported me so much when I did it. Mum and Dad really supportive. Like, Dad was always really interested in what was going on and asking me about it and stuff like that. And sometimes I held back from being open because, you know, sometimes it weren't going great in some months, in the early beginnings particularly. And you don't want to feel like you let anybody down, mate, with it. And with your friends, you particularly have helped me so much. You know, you've got a good network and stuff like that. You've helped me, you know, get places, and I'll always be thankful for that. Killick helped me to get in meetings and stuff. Yeah. So everyone's pulled together, and ultimately, it's that fear of letting people that you love and that love you down. And that drove me a lot. And it made me want to succeed, but also there was made me like paralysed a little bit, because sometimes I was so internally like, oh, I need this, that I was forcing it. Nothing really felt coming naturally to me, and so yeah, bit of up and down. Obviously now the environment's changed a little bit for me, and I've calmed down a little bit. I mean, I got a bit obsessed for about 2-3 years, maybe, with like hustle culture, where I had to be working all the time, and I was judging myself and all these things. And I know now that that's just such a stupid way to measure if you're successful or not, because as we spoke about in the previous episode, it's about happiness and what you do in your spare time and the relationships you've got and the friendships you have, as well as just doing well in business. But everyone, we want to do well in business. Not everyone that watches this does. No. Some people are very happy with the jobs that they've got, and like, that's amazing that they're at that point. I just don't feel as a person I'll ever be truly 100% happy where I am with work, because I always want to push myself to the next level. Always want to try and get promotion. I always want to try and get the biggest clients. No, just that's in me, and that's what you're saying about sport. It's a competition element to it.
Yeah. So it's work.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the competitive side in us will never leave me, but I just can't control that. I'm always going to have it.
Yeah.
And also, you know, what you're saying about work, because I don't think we know what success looks like from work yet, because we're quite early on in our journeys. You know, we're sub 30 in years of age.
Sub 30.
Too much running.
Yes, that's that.
We're younger than 30. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
When the Forbes is soon, over 40s, no worries.
Yeah.
But like, you know, we see other people doing well, and we think, okay, well, the best bit of advice someone said to me when I first went into work was, see what you like in other people, pick the bits you do, and mould that into your own character.
Yeah, that's quite good.
And it's stuck with me, and that's allowed me to be my own person, not copy one person's, copy loads.
Yeah.
But you also learn what not to do. And you make your own mistakes. Like I say that to one of my juniors, you know, I'm not perfect, never will be.
No.
But I have a desire to improve, and a lot of other people have that. But we don't know what the top end looks like because we haven't been in that position. We see other people in that.
Yeah, and that's when we try and judge ourselves, which is stupid, because we've got time on our side, really.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a fear of failure as well? Like I said, like fear of failing to... I know people, you shouldn't think about what other people think of you, and we've just said that at the start of the episode. Our securities come from what we think other people think of us. You know, and really they probably don't care. Do you feel like a fear of failure is a big part in being insecure?
Yes.
Particularly, I don't know, from work. Let's go into work. Do you have a fear of failing at work and letting? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do, but at the same time, that I don't sit there and let that actually drives me on. It's not like I don't sit there and worry about what to do. It just, that is my driver. I think I've been told I hate talking about this, but like, I've got potential.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has potential, but it's about unlocking it. And it's how much you unlock that is what you'll uncover over time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah. And just do it. Like, if you're thinking about starting a business, if you're thinking about writing a book, if you're thinking about whatever you are thinking about and you're scared to do it and put out into the world and make yourself vulnerable, my advice is from personal experience is just do it, because you will learn so much more from pursuing what you actually want to do. You'll get much more fulfillment and enjoyment out of it. And to be honest, mate, if there is a group of people that are against you, relish that in a way. Like some people are just pathetic, really. Like, they're worried about, bitchy and all them things. Let them do that. Let them talk about you in that way. Don't see that as a fear of not wanting to do something. See that as like, I'll prove them wrong. Yeah. Prove them wrong. I mean, that's what we're trying to do with the 50.
I know, mate. Didn't you write a film as well once?
No. No. What I said to you was, is there anything in life... See, I'm going to sit you up now.
Okay, go on.
I said to you, is there anything in life that would be really cool to achieve in your lifetime that you probably will never do, but if you could say you did it, it would be just something really sweet. And I said, yeah, imagine if you wrote a film, right, and you're a screenwriter. That was just such a cool thing to do. Your answer was, I just want to be a good person, mate.
I never said that.
No, you said that. Right. I was just trying to engage you. I was just trying to engage you in a bit of an intellectual conversation, and your answer was not sufficient, and you're taking the mick out of my answer, so that's a stitch up.
Right.
That's a big stitch up.
Cheers,
but now, going back to the thing, have you got any advice, maybe from your experiences, mate? Feeling vulnerable, feeling insecure, whether that might be, like you said, with relationships or in your personal life, in work life. How did you deal with that? How did you overcome that? That other people may be able to take some strength from.
The easiest thing is just to talk to other people.
Ties in with a mental health episode as well.
It does 100%, and that's the biggest thing that I've learned. Probably since lockdown, if I'm honest. I haven't learned how to do this properly. Yeah. And it's not like I haven't I haven't had a huge amount of issues.
Yeah.
But like all of the different insecurities and like the things you want to achieve and where you want to go in life, you have to talk about those things so you can like understand how to move those forward.
Yeah.
And to help other people as well, because other people open up to me, I help them, and it really works because there aren't really a lot of other tools around, if I'm honest. Like, you can go on to various support networks for various different issues if you have them, as far as I'm aware. Yeah. But from an everyday perspective, we're sat here, we're talking about it, we might be on front of a camera, but we do this off camera. And we do it with all of our friends, we do it with Jesse, we do it with a lot of other people because that's the best way.
It's where you get support from.
It is.
I mean, we're putting ourselves out there with this podcast. I mean, it's a tiny podcast. We've got less than 100 subscribers. We sometimes...
But thank you.
Thank you to all the subscribers. But we sometimes get less than 100 views. Sometimes we've got a video that's got 800 views, right? And we were buzzing about that. But we were also buzzing with the last episode that got less than 100 because we enjoyed the conversation. But in a way, we are making content where we're talking about personal stuff and putting it online, and any random person can watch that. Yeah. So in a way, we're making ourselves vulnerable to criticism, to people disagreeing with us, to people not liking us, to people saying it's a shocking podcast. But also you get the benefits of people that really enjoy it and message us and say, love that episode, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Shout out Amy Walker.
Amy Walker's a big fan of the podcast. So, yeah.
I think that's the right thing to end this on. Is like we're doing this because we can share things that we've been through, Whether people care or not, I don't know. But if you're tuning in for it, great.
Just on that though, I actually don't care. Like, I really don't care if people enjoy this or not, because I love this conversation. Yeah. This is an amazing conversation for me. Once a week, right? If we have these conversations off camera when the camera's not here. So, but just putting a camera there doesn't bother me in any way. And if no one likes it, that's up to them. Yeah. But I've learned to deal with that. 3 years ago, I would not be doing this. No way, mate. Because I was scared of letting people down, rejection, all them things. So, but now I'm comfortable to do that.
Yeah.
Because of what happens when you get older as well. You care less about what other people think, but particularly when you're young, you really care what other people think of you. I've just interrupted you, but I just wanted to touch on that point, mate. Sorry.
We want to finish by saying we want to share and we want to learn.
Yeah.
Or help other people learn if that's what we can do.
100%.
And great. So let's go and keep trying to run our 50 miles, mate, because we need to do some training.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you everybody to listening again to another episode. We do actually hope you enjoyed it, even as I say I don't care.
Backtrack.
No, we do hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind subscribing to the channel or liking Win or Learn Pod on Instagram for regular updates. They're just stupid pictures, it's not really formal, but it's just good fun. Thank you everybody for listening, and see you next week.
We will do. Thank you guys.
Boom.